Hey everyone, and welcome to Back to School Basics, our mini-series designed to make your life easier as you head back to school. Today we're talking about punctuating in-text citations, which are what you're going to use anytime you have an essay or some sort of writing assignment that requires you to use quotes from a text. You want to make sure when you're using evidence that you introduce the fact that you're about to have a quote. So the first thing you need to do is choose a sentence starter. There are some examples here, but you really have basically endless options in terms of how you want your sentence to start. Okay, so after your sentence starter, you're going to use quotation marks and then put the exact words of the quote from your text that you're using to support your point. Okay, so in general, this is what it should look like so far. I chose the sentence starter in the text it states, put a comma after it, and then I have quotation marks. This is where your quote from the book will go, and your closing quotation marks. So the last part of this process is just to identify where the quote is coming from. This is basically just giving credit to the author for the quote that you used. So a full citation then will look, in general, something like this. In the text it states, with your comma, quote from the text in quotation marks, and then in parentheses after your quote, you're going to put the author's last name and the page number. Close your parentheses and then put your punctuation. Okay, an example with an actual quote from Pride and Prejudice might look like, in the text it states, comma, quotation marks, it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Closed quotation marks, open parentheses, Austen 1, close parentheses, then put the period. I know you know this, but just as a casual reminder, you're using whatever text you are supposed to be using and citing the author and the page number of that text, and this one is just a random example just because that book is my favorite. If the evidence you're using has a question mark or an exclamation point in it, put that inside your quotation marks because it's part of the quoted material. But then you do still need a period at the end of your parenthetical citation, just to show that your actual sentence is over. If you're using evidence that contains a character saying something or something that the author puts in quotation marks within the text, you need to show that within your quote by using apostrophes around whatever that quoted material is. Quick side note before we go, sometimes depending on what you're writing or for what class or in what style or for what person, some of these things are going to be potentially different. So always defer to what the person who is actively teaching you asks you to do in terms of your citations. That is all I have. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know in the comments. Bye.